Welcome to Jones'NForSmoke. Don't forget to like and share. If I find you posting store links and comments, I'll cut you, block.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Jones'NForSmoke podcast, brought to you by Jones'NForSports. We make sports better. And as always, I'm brought to you with my co-host, Alex from Fantasy Football 420, or 420 Fantasy Football. What's going on, brother?
Doing good, man. Ready for week 3 because last week was some bullshit and these injuries need to chill out.
Yo, last week was definitely a crazy ass week. Hopefully this week is much better. For everybody that's going to be viewing, this is going to be a regular thing now. Me and Alex going to be doing this every Saturday, collaborating Jones'NForSports and 420 Fantasy Football, doing this every week, bringing you guys the best smoke that we can bring you guys. So appreciate everybody that supports us. Our guy Daniel out there, shout out to you, my guy. Appreciate you. Any questions, obviously, to put them in the comments. And then for anybody else that's watching, obviously do the same thing. So, Alex, I'm going to start with you. You already kind of kicked it off. What is your first smoke of the week? And before we start that, we got to light it up, everybody.
Yeah, let's get it going. Man, my first smoke of the week. It's all these injuries, man. Like that's really what this comes down to is like, man, people need to get right out there. I know we don't want our players to get hurt in the preseason, especially, the NFL owners and blah, blah, blah. But man, they're getting hurt in the beginning of the season. And isn't that worse? Like, wouldn't we rather have them hurt before the season starts if they're going to get hurt anyways? And then we can plan correctly, and that's really my beef is the preseason, man. A lot of this comes down to the preseason. Players aren't ready for week 1. A lot of them a couple snaps before the season. Some of them don't even play any snaps in any games. I like it the way that it used to be because it used to get us a little bit more ready for week 1 fantasy football wise. It was like week 1. It was, the players would play like 1 drive, 2 drive. And then like week 2, players would play like a quarter. And then like week 3, they'd play like a half. And it was like, and then everyone's ready. All systems are go at that point. And then nobody played week 4 except for the people trying to make the team last second. And shout out to Bob Nix. That's Bo Nix's dad in the chat. What up?
And then, like, week 3, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Oh, sorry. Got that. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you that these injuries are killing everybody. And that was going to be my next point comes back to preseason. These bullshit preseasons that you guys are not taking serious, it's coming back to bite you guys in the ass because the old way, it wasn't happening like that. These guys haven't played full football for 8 months, and you guys are expecting them to get right back into it, throw them right back into the fire, and, them just be unscathed. Like, it's not going to happen. They've got to their bodies have to get used to that. And that's what preseason provided that, getting hit and getting physical. And I understand they're saying, these joint practices is kind of giving that same aura, but it's scripted and all that. So it's like, it's not really the same. And it's not everybody really on one page. So I don't really like it. I think they should keep the preseason games, at least 2 of them, and have their starters out there playing. Maybe not a full game, but at least a half or at least 3/4 or something like that. Let their bodies get used to the physicality because they haven't gotten used to getting hit for so long.
Well, see, and that's kind of another thing that sucks too is like even the physicalness in preseason has kind of changed. The thing that I don't like, players don't get paid during preseason. Now that's a bullshit because like, if someone's out there giving it their all, giving it their 110%, and then they get hurt and then they got no money for being out there, like that's just some bullshit in general. So, I mean, everything about the preseason just seems like a broken, just a broken system.
Yeah.
They need to figure out some shit. They really do. What up, Astros on top?
I absolutely agree. To go out there and risk getting hurt for no money is ridiculous. That's just absolutely ridiculous. So I definitely understand players that don't want to play in the preseason if that's the case. But yeah, NFL, you got to change that. Give them some incentive to actually want to play in the preseason so they can get used to it come game week 1 and 2 and 3.
Well, and the guys who already have good contracts, it doesn't matter. Like it's the
That's a fact.
The 80th man on the roster who's trying to actually become number 53. Like those guys, like none of them are getting paid. It's just for the opportunity to potentially make that 53 man.
Yeah. I agree. Injuries is definitely, and obviously it's going to hurt all of us fantasy football players because guys are dropping like flies. I've got Nakua on IR. I think I might have another player on IR. So it's definitely starting. Guys are dropping like flies, and it's hurting. And now guys are scrambling in the waiver wire trying to make some moves. But like you said last week, I think it might be just a little bit too early to be doing that. I think. What's your advice on that? What you think? How long should people wait
before they start hitting the waiver wire?
Yep.
Don't wait, because it's the guys right now in the first 4 weeks of the season who are really going to turn into like the league winners, and I mean, there's no Puka this year, but like Puka, for example, last year, like he's not really drafted in a bunch of leagues last year, like maybe dynasty leagues and stuff. But if you don't get him week 1, because you're like, oh man, like he's probably fluke, like, and then you don't get him, and then it's like whoever got that guy, their team just changed like overnight. And so I feel like you got to make the calculated moves, but I think it's a fine line between dropping guys that shouldn't get dropped, because like there's people who are like, after seeing Thursday night, like, oh man, is fucking Breece Allen gonna suck now because Braylon Allen, or Breece Hall gonna suck now because Braylon Allen, got 11 touches or whatever. And so it's like, it's this crazy panic city. Like there's a fine line between making moves and panicking.
That's a very good point, because there's a lot of people panicking there right now. A lot of people panicking.
Okay. And that's who you want to try to trade with, right? You see someone going 0-2, 0-3.
Yeah.
They might want to trade. They might think their team sucks. And even though they're not, they're only just looking at it from I'm 0-3, not really why. Because sometimes you may play a tough ass schedule. Man, I don't know. Like, I mean, a lot of times it is the schedule. Like you just play a really tough, first 4 games. Yeah. But if you're 0-3, 3-1, 1-3, people are going to panic. They'll trade one of their stars for like 3 guys.
Yeah, they're in desperate mode. And I've seen people come back, though, from worse. From down 0-3 and make the playoffs in the fantasy football, and then now almost win and shit. Like, I'm sure there's been people that have won. So,
I've been 0-6 and turned it all. I didn't win a championship, but 0-6 and turned it all the way around to making it to the playoffs. It was like an insane like run, and I lost 1 game, I think, but was 7-7 at the end of it. And so you just got to get on a little bit of a roll.
Absolutely. I love it,
man.
That's what's up. Shout out to everybody. So my smoke for the week is really a 2-parter, but I'm going to start with my Dallas Cowboys. Not that I'm panicking, because you already know where my stance is with the Cowboys. I'm not really worried about the regular season too much, but just to entertain Cowboy Nation as well. Yeah. This is a tough game, being the name alone, the Ravens, but obviously the Ravens aren't having the season that we expected, them being 0-2. So we expect, I mean, a lot of people are iffy on this game, and I definitely understand why. But if there's a game that the Ravens could bounce back against, would be the game against my Cowboys, because it still seems like we do not have a run defense. And
that's what Chef just said. Can the Cowboys stop King Henry?
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the problem. And so far, King Henry hasn't been King Henry. But if this could be the game that he bounces back. So this is really a double smoke, I should say, for both the Cowboys and the Ravens, because both of these teams kind of need this game. Cowboys need to bounce back after a disgusting loss to the Saints. That was just disgusting. So they need to bounce back and show that they can be something this season. But I wouldn't be in panic mode yet, Cowboy Nation, even though you guys will be regardless. But the Ravens, a lot of people have the Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year. A lot of people are feeling that the Ravens could be that team this year. So if they lose to the Cowboys after the Cowboys just lost to the Saints, It's going to be a bad look for the Ravens, and people are going to be on their ass. So, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys and the Ravens needing a bounce back win this week?
Cowboys are in trouble, man. The Ravens might be the most dangerous 0-2 team like ever right now.
Yeah, because they could easily be 2-0.
Yeah, and you just look at who they played. I mean, last week, I don't know, like if the Raiders are going to be a team who, they can win some of these games that they should be losing by potentially 3 points, that's going to shake up a couple things in the AFC. But you could just tell that line, the chemistry is not really there yet. So that's why I think the Cowboys are in trouble. There's like another week of their line getting chemistry together, even though Derrick Henry's kind of been a shell of himself because that line has been trash. Still has 2 touchdowns on the season, so it's not like he's not doing anything. It's just like there's not a lot of momentum going. But I think that the way that the Cowboys are going to have to like approach this is they need to come out and smack the Ravens in the mouth, because like that's what I saw from the Ravens over these past couple weeks is like if they go down, they're kind of not sticking to the script anymore like they used to. They kind of like even versus the Chiefs, they tried to go high tempo and like, they're not giving Henry the ball. Like they're giving the ball to Flowers a bunch, but it's like their line's not protecting Lamar. So he can't fucking, get a couple seconds to let people get open. So, but the Cowboys don't really have a rush. So it's going to be if they can really stop King Henry, because that's totally been their weakness, the run D so far.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the smoke's going to go out for Michael Parsons, Lawrence, the D line. Like they're going to have to show up. They're going to have to punch first and put the Ravens in a position to where they're going to have to fight back, which we've seen they haven't been able to come back from that. So Dak's going to has to have a bounce back game. This is going to be huge for him. We got to run the ball still. We got to show that threat of running the ball, even though we don't have the best running game. But they were decent, I would say, at least in the first game. Last game, we didn't have anything. We were playing from behind, so we didn't.
What's your thoughts on Rico right now? Because I know there was, even though not high expectations in the fantasy world, there's some expectations because no one thought that Zeke was going to be like a number one, or
right.
Zeke's still being drafted as a flex guy, if not a bench guy.
Yeah, absolutely. My thoughts on Rico is I don't see him having such a great year. I think he'll have some splashes like Tony Pollard did, where he has some big gains or big touchdowns, 50 plus or whatever. But I think that's probably going to happen, obviously, against the bad teams that will play those seasons, like the Giants and things like that, who we play next week. Up against bad D lines, like things like that, I can see him having splashes like that. But as far as him being the replacement for Tony Pollard, even though I wasn't big on Tony Pollard either, I don't see. Yeah, like I just don't see that kind of a season for him. I think he'll be decent. I think he's more of our first and second down guy. I really think Zeke should be our third down guy, short distance, goal line type of guy. Rico is he's got the speed and all that stuff, kind of like Tony Pollard did. So, and he has a little bit of agility. So, but he's not really a big back. So that's why I don't see him really being a number one guy. So I kind of understand Zeke being the number one guy, but I'm real iffy because I just don't really trust our running back group in general. But I am interested to see what we look like when what's his name that we just got? He was just on the Jets. Cook. I want to see what Cook looks like. A lot of people are saying he's cooked himself, and he might be. That might be true, but I want to wait. I want to wait and see because I did see some flashes where he looked good. So hopefully that's the case. But I don't really trust our run game this year. I think it's really going to be mainly Dak. Just going to have to be great. That's really what it comes down to.
Chef Rand said, as a Titans fan, you get up 2 scores on Derrick Henry team. You can get him out of the game plan. I mean, It's just because teams aren't sticking with it. Like, I mean, if he gets fed 20, I mean, I don't know. It's still a little bit different, but than it used to be. But give him 20 or 25 touches. I mean, he wears down the defense. Like, people get tired of tackling him in the fourth quarter. Like, man, like, you want to tackle a 250-pound beast that's going to, like, knee you right in the stomach as you're trying to tackle him? Like, shit's going to hurt in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be interesting. But I'm going with my boys this week. I really am. Just because I haven't seen much from the Ravens this week, and I think the Cowboys could bounce back. Would I be surprised if we lost? Not one bit, and it wouldn't change my emotions or anything like that. But I could see us winning this game just because the Ravens don't look like they're fully where they want to be yet either. So again, it's week 3. This is going to be where we start to see the team starting to become themselves, and if they're going to be a good team or not. Like, this is when starting week 4 is when I'm really like, all right, there's no more excuses, but this is where it really starts to begin for me.
Yep. A lot of filling each other out in the first 4 weeks.
Absolutely. So what do you have? What's your next smoke? Who else you got smoke for?
Man, I got smoke for the Panthers.
Ooh, I like this.
Because you gave Bryce Young another chance going into the season. I know you had to, but like, what do you do with this kid at this point? Like, I feel like you just got to trade him because like, you're not a good fit for him. He's not a good fit for you. And like, you're literally just going to ruin him at this point. So hopefully they're smart enough to just make a move and move on from him. I don't know who the fuck would want him, but I know that they're not getting for him what they gave up to get him. Like, nowhere close. It sucks, man. I feel bad for Bryce Young because as much as he like sucks on the field, you know, like a shitload of it's the Tampa, like the Panthers' fault with all this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great one.
Underrated.
The smoke for that. Bryce to Miami. That's not too bad. With the quick receivers, quick fast offense. That could work. I don't know about down the field as so much with Tyreek Hill, but it would have to be, kind of what they did last year, which was kind of like dump offs, 5-yard plays, and see what they can do with that speed. But yeah, no, I think the Panthers definitely deserve some smoke because they did all of that just to now have to bench him and have to say, oh, well, he's going to have to learn behind. Well, no, that wasn't the plan. That was not the plan. The plan was, this is going to be your starter. This is your future. And you guys did not prepare him and set him up for success. So, and now you
like, what's your thought about that on the QBs, like sitting, even first rounders, top, even if you're the 101, like what's your thought on a QB like sitting?
I think it depends on the situation. Like, in a situation like the Panthers, if they had a veteran quarterback on that team already, like, we'll say like what's his name? Who do they got right now? Dalton. If they had him last year, then maybe I think that's a good situation where you sit him, let him learn. But
they did have him last year, but I think they picked him up last year. Like, it's not like he was like the starting quarterback of the team the year before or anything like that.
Right. Like, if it's a situation where you have a veteran quarterback that knows that system, been there on the team for a little while, and has played well under that system, then yeah, you let him sit and learn under that system until he's ready, and don't throw him in the fire where he's gonna look like shit and you can't even really get much for him because, again, who's gonna really want him at this point? But in other situations like the Texans last year, they got a quarterback that was who I thought should have been the number 1 overall pick, who I thought was better than Bryce Young.
I'm glad he wasn't because, man, the Panthers might have screwed him over.
Yeah,
I
agree. I agree. They would have screwed him too. Absolutely. So I'm glad that he ended up with the Texans. But yeah, he got put in a good position. New coach, who's been a NFL player, great NFL player, had weapons around him. We didn't know they were going to be this good, but turns out they were. They were threats. And in those situations, yes, you absolutely do start those guys. So I guess it all depends on the situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it for sure depends on the situation because, like, look at the Fields situation in Chicago,
Good
I never thought Fields was any good, like at all. Like, I mean, I'm not talking college. I'm just talking about what he showed in the NFL.
Yeah.
He should have been sitting behind someone. He shouldn't have been forced into it right away. And their line's garbage. And for him, they didn't even have any weapons or anything like that. But the line is just trash. He's got to run all the time because he doesn't even have a couple seconds, to sit in the pocket and check any progressions. And then it's like, okay, this is all Fields' fault. We're just going to draft a guy who's like way more talented than him. And we're not going to fix the line, but we're going to get him a veteran weapon and we're going to go draft. We're going to do what the Bengals did and we're going to draft Jamar Chase instead of drafting a lineman. And I mean, I know the Bengals made the Super Bowl, they didn't win, but maybe teams thought that was like going to be a formula. But Jamar Chase, it was like Jamar Chase and Higgins, like it was Higgins and Boyd, and like that was all that they had over there. Like, why do you even go make a move for Keenan Allen if you know that you're going to draft a running? I mean, if you know you're going to draft a wide receiver, anyways, like it kind of makes no sense. And then Keenan Allen's broken, anyways, like he's not even playing. So yeah, it's just the Bears, they're just fucking up all around. But so my whole thought behind it. Look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes. He sits for 1 year, just 1 year. And it's not even, I mean, Alex Smith, former 101, pick, but I mean, a lot of years. But I think 13 years or something before Mahomes was drafted. So really the things that he learned from him was checking the ball down. And really it was like just not putting Mahomes in there right away. Because that team was good. Like, he probably could have been good with the team.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have been better than Alex Smith. I mean, they made the playoffs. They did so good that they sat all their starters in week 18 and Mahomes played and he did pretty good that game. And so I've seen too many of these quarterbacks get ruined in 2 years to say that it's not worth it, especially now with the new fucking whatever the fuck their union is now with the new thing where the teams have the team option to get them for the 5th year. Why are you guys such in a rush to get them in there in the very first game of the very first fucking season of theirs if they're not even ready and you have a shit line? Look at Drake May. One last thing before I kick it over to you. Drake May. Why the fuck would you let Drake May play right now? He would have died in that game. Like, you let him get in there at the end because you feel sorry for Jacoby because he's literally dying on the field out there, just getting smacked left and right by all of their linemen. Like, you could just literally ruin a quarterback in their first year, putting them out in a situation like that.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right about it, that these teams, a lot of fans, the casuals, don't think about the fact that these teams are out here putting quarterbacks in bad positions. And it's not really all the quarterback's fault. I mean, some of their play is bad, but you got to look at the situation. You got to look at their line, especially the offensive line. Like, you named a bunch of teams that were perfect to what we're talking about, with them not being in a great situation. Chicago, they're still going through it with their quarterback now. They thought getting all these receivers was going to fix it. No, that's not going to fix it. That wasn't your problem to begin with. It was the offensive line. And now
no fucking time. He has no time in the pocket.
No time. He's running for his life. And now you're back to where you started again. So it's really funny how these teams, these GMs, haven't realized how to build a offense. Like, it blows my fucking mind. That's my next smoke. It goes to you guys, to you GMs that are picking these fucking teams. What, like, you can't fucking have an offense without the offensive line. It starts in the trenches. You get an offensive line, you get your offensive line straight, you get your defensive line straight, and then you get your skilled players.
This is the one time that I'll ever say this. It's just this one situation for the GMs specifically. No one else, just the actual GMs of NFL teams. Maybe fantasy football isn't a good thing, because there's times where like, damn, this is like a fantasy football move happening in the NFL right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like, man, if you don't have offense and defensive line, like why was Tom Brady so fucking good? Because he was never the most talented guy ever, but he always had a fucking line. Like they always addressed their line and made sure to pay their guys up front.
Exactly. And that's my whole big thing with that is that
underrated said y'all are stoned. I love it. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
And Jeff Rand said Peyton Manning saying everything y'all saying right now. He watches the show. He heard. He knew. He knew what we were talking about.
He knows.
Brady ran a 5.340. I know, man. He's super athletic. Who ran a faster 40? Him or Peyton Manning? Yeah, exactly. It'd be funny as hell to watch those.
I would love to watch that. That would be amazing. Charles Barkley racing against I forgot the ref name in the All-Star game. That would be hilarious to watch. But yeah, no, it's just mind-blowing.
Yeah. And I think Tom, what did he? I mean, shit. Tom was lucky that same kind of like Tom and Tony Romo, though, forever be connected because Drew Bledsoe, the man who ushers them in to the NFL. It's like both guys were like maybe a year away from getting cut in the NFL, but Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. They go in, and it's like the rest is history.
Yep, absolutely. That's a great point. Absolutely. Is it my turn or your turn for the smoke?
I don't know. I can't remember. But I'll tell you who I got some smoke against.
All right,
the 49ers. The 49ers. So 49ers, I don't know if you know this, but they cursed themselves a long time ago. It was when they traded for Mitch Trubisky and they traded like the 3 first-rounders or whatever. And they gave up the rights to Mitch Trubisky. I don't know what happened. I think Shanahan made a deal with the devil gone wrong or something, because like every couple of years they have these years where it's like everybody dies, like not just somebody, but like literally everybody, and everybody except Brandon Ayuk. Like he's he signed on the dotted line at the right time, like because they're looking out for him. But man, everybody, CMC, Debo, now Kittle. 49ers, like as much as like they're a really good team and they're a really good organization, but they've been blessed with just amazing pieces. Like that's really it. Like CMC, if he doesn't have ties to Shanahan and his dad and everything, doesn't even go there. You know, so I think 49ers they got a long road ahead. They're not making I don't think they're making the Super Bowl. I think this injury bad luck is going to continue for them, and just because I've seen it before.
Yep, absolutely, I agree with that. And to add on to it, I want to add to the smoke by adding more smoke to Brock Purdy, because we've all been asking, hey, what can you do without the Avengers? Now you don't have the Avengers. Can you perform? And so far, without CMC, without Debo, you haven't been great. And we need you to be great, even without those guys, because that's what it entitles. Without great players, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning made some guys like Edelman and other guys amazing, who weren't really known before they were on those type of quarterbacks. So you got to be able to get through that type of adversity. And who are they playing again? I forgot who they're playing this week.
They got the Rams, but they are playing in SoFi. But another, this is like the banged up teams.
Yep, exactly.
all banged up.
All banged up. So if you lose to the Rams, that's going to be pretty sad. Pretty sad. Like you still got IU, you still got Trent Williams and stuff like that, and you got other players. So that's going to be interesting to see.
I know there's some people out there who don't like me because of my Brock take when I said that he's average at best.
Yep.
I mean, there's a reason why he was Mr. Irrelevant. It's not because he's a fucking first round caliber, or else he would have got drafted by any of the other 32 teams in any of the picks before the very last pick in the draft.
Absolutely.
And so but people get really butthurt when I bring that up and like, oh, you're just a fucking hater. Like, no, he did get drafted the last pick. That's just a fact.
Exactly.
Like, if he was the first, same with Tom Brady. If he was a first round caliber talent, he would have got drafted in the first round. Doesn't mean that he isn't on a good team. It doesn't mean he's not coached up well. It doesn't mean that he's not progressing, as an NFL player. None of that means anything. But you've been fucking blessed. And if you go back and we look at Jimmy G's stats compared to Brock's stats, They're very, very similar.
Yes,
They're very, very similar. I'm talking, 49er Jimmy when he
Yep.
first got there, and Brock Purdy Jimmy, and Brock Purdy versus him. It's very, very similar. And it is the system. Like, anybody who doesn't think that it's the system is just being blind. And there goes Song out there. And I know Song's a 49er fan, so he's probably getting pissed at me right now. But the system is good, and he's a good fit for that system.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree. 1,000%. I've been saying that all year last year, that it's the system. Why can't you just credit the system? They plug in quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, and it works. It works.
Look at that Song said, Purdy is him. Grr.
Purdy is for that system. For that system. But like you said, there's nothing wrong with saying that. And he has progressed in certain aspects. Like last year in the playoffs, he proved a lot to me coming back from down in the playoffs against other teams. Like that was great to see. So, but it's got to be consistent now. And so far it doesn't look that great. So I'm on the same page with you with Purdy. My next
Song just woke up and said he woke up to this shit. Man, just smoke with us. Just smoke with us.
Yeah, just smoke with us, bro. We bring it on.
We're just talking shit about the Cowboys a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. I took my smoke already to the Cowboys. So we all we passing the smoke around to everybody.
Philly Mike ain't playing. He said the Cowboys haven't been to an NFC championship game since I was in diapers.
This is true. I was 5 since the last time that the Cowboys were anything. And you're right. I'm not the biggest. I'm the biggest Cowboys critic as a Cowboys fan. So, yeah, you're not telling me anything new. They ain't telling me anything new. But since you're talking, that was my next smoke. So I'm glad that you're speaking, Philly, because Philly ain't what y'all said they were. Y'all thought because y'all added some Saquon and got some defensive players and shit like that you guys were right back onto the page where you were, what was it, 2002 when you went to the Super Bowl? No, that team has left and they're gone. It's not the same team anymore. It's not the same team. You guys still have the same fucking problems you guys had last year. And I tried to tell you guys that. But y'all didn't want to listen to me. It's just me just giving out facts. Just giving out facts.
Oh man, look at Chef Brad. How you let London beat y'all? And Philly Mike OG said Dallas about to get steamrolled by Baltimore.
We might. We just might, because they got exactly what the Cowboys don't want, which is a running game. Well, they haven't so far this season, but they got Derrick Henry. So, and we don't have a D-line. So,
Jason Kelce might have been one of the best draft picks by Philly, of all time, for as long as he was there, like as the least amount of games as he missed. And you could just tell, it's different. It's different with him not at the center of that line. And we already knew that things were going to be different without him, but that just like the Ravens, man, these lines, they need some time to develop some chemistry.
Yep.
And no AJ Brown. That shit sucks for our fantasy. And Devin White, what the fuck, man? What the fuck is going on with Devin White? Why even give him a mini bag over there? Bring him over there. And they say he's hurt, but then he's a healthy scratch and then he doesn't play. I'm curious what the fuck's going on with Devin White.
Yeah, absolutely. And your coach is questionable too. Nick Sirianni is not the greatest coach out there. Let's just be honest. He makes very questionable calls, just like Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, I cannot stand because he makes a lot of questionable fucking calls. We've all seen it. They've all going viral. But same with Nick Sirianni. He's got to be a better coach. With this talented team that you guys have, he's got to be better. And like you said it. Jalen Hurts got to be better as well. He was in MVP conversations like a couple years ago. But we're not seeing that same caliber player right now. So he's got to step up and be better. That whole team they got to step up, because you guys still have the same issues. And my question for the Philly fans, not fans, for the Philly fans, are you guys cool with Jalen Hurts running the ball so much? Because I'm not good with it. Even as a Dallas fan, like, I don't think it's smart. I just don't think let him taking all those hits this early in the season is a good recipe for it.
I swear he's running less though than he was in the past.
Is he? Oh, okay.
He had 13 rushing attempts each of the last 2 games. I guess I wouldn't have even thought that he had 13. I would have said like 9 or 10, but
yeah,
I don't know. It feels like he is running. It's Saquon, man. Like, I mean, because of him, it's almost like Hurts doesn't have to go run like this. But let me go look compared to like the first 2 games last year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He ran it less. First game last year, he ran nine times. This second game last year, he ran it 12 times, and this year he's ran it 13 times. I feel like, is it because the line's breaking down quicker?
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. That's definitely a good point. I just think if they're designed, I think that's a recipe that might end in injury. We're already seeing it throughout the league, and these quarterbacks. We almost saw the quarterback from Washington, Jalen, almost get knocked out of last week, trying to be doing too much.
Yeah, man. Huh? Yeah. I'm not excited for these guys who, like, even Caleb. It's crazy. Like, you see him in Hard Knocks doing like the slides and shit like that, and like literally the first episode, that's one of the first drills that they're working on is the slide. And he's not really sliding out there right now when he's running for the ball. And it's like, man, like that was my beef with Richardson. It's like, first you're saying the NFL is easy, and then you're just like running into linebackers. Like, you're gonna run into the wrong linebacker. Who's just gonna fucking pop your shoulder out of place or something. And I don't know why these QBs, man, like they need to fucking get on the ground.
Get on the ground.
You're not playing Madden. I know in Madden you want to go heads up with this is not Madden.
You're not Josh Allen. He's like one of the only exceptions to doing that because he can take the hits. He's a big ass quarterback. But even him, I wouldn't even suggest him to do it because it relies.
Man, you know these linebackers, they just want to fuck you up. They want to kill you. If they get a chance to lay a fucking clean hit on you, they're killing you.
Absolutely, because once you become a running back, they can light up. I mean, obviously before you slide, but with the way the rules are for the quarterback in the pocket, not being able to touch them, when you become a running back, oh my God, they cannot wait to light you up. They cannot wait.
Jamie?
So just go down early if you have to. You see a guy coming your way, he's 5 yards, go down. Just go down. Don't be a hero. We've seen too many guys go down this year already. It's just not worth it.
I remember back in the day, people used to hate on LT because LaDainian, that LT, because he would like rip off like 40 yards and they just run out of bounds instead of trying to get the extra 5 yards.
Yep.
And like, isn't that the smartest thing? Like, I remember Tyreek on his podcast. He was like, I'm going out of bounds, man. He was like, if I can rip off any kind of play and you don't touch me, that's a win.
Absolutely.
That is a win.
That's a win. He's absolutely right. Any play that you can get big yardage and not get touched, absolutely. You get out of bounds. Don't take the hit. I totally understand that thinking. So my next smoke, or actually, no, I think it's your turn.
And hold on. Before we do that, we got a question from Caleb in here.
Let's get
the next one. He said, new to fantasy football, should I start Goff or Dak? I feel like I like Goff's matchup a little bit better. And then Kyren, B-Rob, or JT. JT's actually got a really tough matchup against the Bears. They've been kind of holding running backs down. Man, and then Kyren versus the Niners, that's going to suck.
Yeah.
I guess I'm probably just going to go Taylor just because I'll go Taylor and B-Rob.
Yeah, B-Rob and Taylor. I like that too. And Golf, for sure.
And then choose 2 out of the wide receivers. Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Cooper, Higgins. And they said that Higgins is like good to go. So I don't know if he's going to get a full complement of snaps, though.
They got Commanders this week.
They got Washington. And Washington, I mean, man, they're giving up the booty to like every position out there.
Yep. So,
I'm going Amon-Ra and I'm going to go Higgins as of right now because of that.
Yeah, I like both of those matchups, Amon and Higgins, for the same reasons, for sure.
Yep. And Caleb, let us know if you heard the answer. Appreciate you guys. And Watson said, "Hey guys, saving yourself when you need to take a hit is key. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I don't want to see guys like because I mean Jaden he got smacked. He got the wind knocked out of him. I mean, it was nothing serious, but these welcome to the NFL moments. Like, you can either make yourself get it sooner, or you can just try to avoid it and think you're like Superman.
Absolutely. Go down. Just they're itching for it. They're itching for it, especially like guys like Caleb Williams. They want to go after them, let them know, like, hey, this is not college, and we're here to let you know it's a lot faster, we're a lot stronger, and we're gonna put you out if we can, the legal. So, absolutely.
What up, Rob? He said Akers or Singletary. I think I'm on the Akers side right now.
Who is Singletary? Is he still with
He's with the Giants, and they got the Browns this week, so I think it'll be a tough matchup for him.
I like
with no Mixon. It's like Akers is pretty much the only guy. Him and Agumba Wale. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Chef Rand said we just talked about how easy it is to ruin these QBs. Hell yeah. I mean, seeing that's how they have to save themselves, because I know these guys, I mean, everyone's a dog out there. At least they're trying to be, and it sucks living to fight another day, but I mean, you got to do it. Like, just go down. Like, don't try to get that extra 1 yard. It's not worth it.
To not see another down at all. It's just not worth it.
And Jaden, as of right now, Chef Ran, I mean, he could be potential rookie of the year, but watch out, man. I bet Brian Thomas Jr., just get ready. Like, I think it's going to be him and Marvin Harrison Jr. I think when it's all said and done, that those are going to be the guys competing for it at the end.
Yep, absolutely.
Fuck yeah, Tua should have slid, man.
Hey, you're down already. He was trying to play hero ball, and it's just unfortunate. And I wish him the best going forward. But yeah, you got to save yourself. You got to learn from these things. You just have to. We've seen too many of this, especially the quarterback. We don't want to see the quarterback go down. That's just the worst, because it affects so many other things after that. It's just everyone else is affected. We already know what we think of, what Waddle's going to look like, what Tyreek's going to look like, what Anchan's going to look like, Mustard, all those guys. The effect of losing Tua has on the whole team. So it's important.
Yeah. I got some smokes for the Chiefs here, and Chef Ran, he put it out there that Reed's the only elite head coach left. As of right now, yeah. I mean, it just seems like everything that they got going. I mean, they built a team that's sustained to win. I mean, they can stop the run. I mean, their defense is young and they're coached up really well. Mahomes already proved like he doesn't really need, outside of Kelsey, doesn't really need like any super elite like pass catching weapons. I mean, they did it with kind of a committee running back, approach. And so everything that they've kind of done, it's sustainable. Yep. But my smoke is about, them doing stupid shit like passing it to a lineman for a touchdown instead of like Travis Kelsey. And like, I think that they're getting a little bit too cute over there, and we need to get back to business, and we need to get Kelsey the fucking ball. Okay. And that needs to be something that happens this week. Mahomes needs to go for over 300. Yep. Okay. Like, I don't give a shit how good your defense is. Run up the fucking score. Okay. I want to see Mahomes go over 300. We want to see Kelsey have at least a touchdown. Let's get him over 100 yards. Let's pretend that we're in the correct universe. Right.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more, because I got Mahomes as my quarterback, and he has not performed well for me at all so far this season. So I need him to go crazy this week, because yikes, these games are coming too close for me.
And Chef Ran, no. Rice has not replaced Kelsey. If you see, most of the time, Kelsey's being double teamed and triple teamed out there. And I feel like they're almost doing it on purpose to just like move the defense into one specific spot, so then they can just like make Rice be wide open in a one-on-one fucking play. Yeah, they need to scheme to where Kelsey actually gets involved with some catches and shit, not just being a huge ass decoy.
Stop. Yeah, I agree. They stop with all the cute shit. Get them open. They know you can scheme them up somehow, some way to get Kelsey open. So they just got to get to it. No other way.
But they've finally drafted good at wide receiver because they missed on a handful of them. But Rice and, I mean, even Worthy, I mean.
Yeah, he didn't have a great week last week.
I mean, he's kind of, like, is he just going to be like a one-trick pony? Like, he might be. Like, he might not be that good of a route runner, which I never thought he was. But if he's fast as fuck, so let him return kicks, let him return punts, and just get the ball in his hands a couple times.
Right. That's all you got to do. You don't got to make it too simple. And I'm sure, like you guys said about Andy Reid, he'll be able to find a way to scheme him into the offense to get him the ball and make him do whatever he can do with that speed. So he's got definitely gained some weight, though, because he is light in the ass. He is light in the ass. Don't put him out there for running plays.
What happened, Philly Mike OG? Drinking over here? He said, do I trade Garrett Wilson? I'm 0-2. If you saw, I broke down Garrett Wilson's schedule up until week 9, and it's really ugly.
Ooh.
It's like he's playing either New England or he's playing a top cornerback in the league. What up, Corey? What up?
What's going on, boss? Absolutely. That's a good one. My other smoke goes for the Bengals because I feel like if they don't start turning it around, which they normally do, but then they start crashing again during the end of the season, or they get to the playoffs and lose to the Chiefs. If they don't turn that corner this season and start really looking like the Chiefs that everyone expects them to look like, when do we eventually get past what they used to be and start accepting them for what they are? Because I feel like for years we've been giving them the pass because they were the one team to get past the Chiefs and go to the Super Bowl. And they've been successful during the regular season. But other than that, they haven't really had that much success outside of that. So if they don't get there again this year, when are we going to be able to give up on that pass?
Well, I guess it just depends on what lens you're looking through it from, because I don't know. There's still people who think like the jury's out on Trey Lance, even though I've been talking shit about him like forever. So it's like there's some people who just give like, Burrow was hurt, so it's like that year almost didn't count. Okay, well he got hurt this year too, so it's like it almost didn't count. So it's like there's some people who they'll give they'll give the leeway on that, I guess. But I really feel like, I mean, if they can't go out there and beat the shit out of the Commandos, like, yeah, they got some issues there. I think really more of their issues, their defense has kind of been holding it down, but I don't know. It's like their pass rush isn't what it used to be. Where's Stranger at? I know he could point to what some of the Bengals' problems are, but pass rush isn't what it used to be. Their run game, like as much as they didn't, I don't know why they didn't want Joe Mixon back, because he made a huge difference for them. Moss and Chase Brown are really just whatever.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I'm just curious because I feel like that's always obviously it makes sense, obviously, with the injuries to Burrow. That's obviously a legit excuse. But even then, like when he comes back healthy and they go make it to the playoffs, they end up always losing to the Chiefs in a close one. But when are we eventually going to be like, well, I feel like some people still give Burrow the edge over Mahomes, and that's where like some of that smoke comes from and where that rivalry comes from. I don't know where they get that from, but that's where some of it comes from. So
just hating it has to be, because
for sure.
I mean, right now the Chiefs, I mean, they're like the Bulls of the 90s right now. Like, man, they're running like a legitimate shot to three-peat.
Yeah.
And think about all the team. Like, I guess like the crazy thing is like how a lot of people only judge a team being good off of like winning championships. And like, when Tom Brady's there with the Patriots, I mean, they won like a third of the championships, in like 18 years or whatever. So like nobody won besides the Patriots. Like nobody did. Like it's only here and there, and so I don't know. I just really feel like people got to get out of this. Like you're only good if you win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Gotta win a Super Bowl to be great, though. I will say that you can't be great without a Super Bowl.
Exactly. There's a difference. Absolutely.
Chef Ran Burrow, the only one to beat Mahomes in the playoffs. Who else? Yeah, the only one's Brady. Yeah, I mean Mahomes is he's the truth, man.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's no shade on Joe Burrow, because I think Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. Like that, I'm not saying that because I don't think he's a bad quarterback or the Bengals are a bad team or anything like that. But I feel like a lot of excuses get given to the Bengals because of what they did a couple years ago. I feel like in the NFL, it's all about what you've done for me lately. You got to keep updating your resume. So for the Bengals to be every year to be in that top conversation, I feel like they got to start proving it a little bit more. Outside of injuries, obviously the injuries hurt them a lot, but
and I mean, as long as Burrow's there, they're going to be in that conversation because I feel like most teams, you kind of pick to go to the Super Bowl based on your QB, unless if you're the 49ers and you're just that good everywhere else that like your QB can be Brock Purdy and you can still be looked at as a Super Bowl favorite.
Absolutely. What's your next smoke? Who else you got to pull?
Let's see. Who else do we got to talk about?
I got one more for you.
Yeah, let's see. Well, go ahead. You give me yours while I'm thinking of mine. Corbin said Dan Marino. Never made it. I mean, after that second year or whatever, his first Super Bowl, never made it back.
Sam Darnold. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Sam Darnold's looking real good this year so far. He looks pretty good.
I mean, the only way that he's beating him in the playoffs is if it's in the Super Bowl, though.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think Minnesota's making it to the Super Bowl, but
no, I don't think that.
We should think of Theo.
But my next one would be for. Well, it's not even really smoke, but it's a question. Well, I guess it is smoke because. All right, I'll just throw it out there. There's talk about getting rid of the 2 high safeties. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? Because me as a defender, playing football my whole life, and being at one time playing safety, playing corner, my thought is, it's not our fault that you can't beat it. Like there are quarterbacks that can beat it. There are offenses that can beat 2 high safeties.
Yeah, ask Mahomes to beat 2 high safety.
Exactly. So my whole thing is like all this complaining about it. Kyle,
it's fucking Chris Collinsworth saying this shit. Man, his ass needs to retire.
Miles Kuiper, he's saying this shit too, and
yeah. No, Kuiper's a fucking bum, man. Like a couple years ago, he said that fucking Malik Willis was going to get drafted by the Panthers in the first round at 6 overall. Like that shows you how much that guy fucking knows about football. He's old and senile. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, man, so yeah, we need to go back to the way that football was in the fucking like 70s, but it's like they're throwing like 10 times as much as they were throwing back then. Like, I mean, back then. It's like, and I mean, as we're going into the 80s, I'm not even talking 70s, but like Dan Marino, Dan Fouts, those are like the only guys who are throwing it a shitload in the NFL. Everyone else is, like they just run heavy teams, and it's the exact fucking opposite now. So you want to bring back, any kind of like non-2 high safeties, like bring back fucking Adrian Peterson, bring back fucking like running backs like that and make teams build around that. And then I bet you they'll stop running 2 high safety. But until then, like that makes no fucking sense. They asked Derwin James what he thought about that. And he was like, well, what are we going to like? What am I going to do then? Where am I going to play?
Exactly. Like, I think it's just a bunch of bullshit. They're already handicapping these defenders as it is. So why handicap them more? No, like fuck that. I don't want to hear that shit. When I heard this shit, I was just like, no, this is ridiculous. You guys gotta understand football more to understand that there is ways to beat 2 high safeties. It's just we've seen a whole bunch of bad quarterbacks out there. It's not our fault. It's not their fault. Like, what the fuck are they supposed to do? Not everybody can be Mahomes. So it is what
I'm too high to play safety. But yeah, it makes no sense. Like, it's funny because even if like I'm just thinking about, Madden and like shit like that, it's like, is there even any formations these days that don't have a 2 high safety set? Like, I mean, literally every defense like has that
the
now.
Most common. Absolutely.
Now fucking teams are running 3 safeties so they can like bring a safety down like into the box, and be like, a slash linebacker or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really like the strong safety. He'll come down and play the run or some shit like that, and then somebody else, a corner, will replace him, or another. Yeah, like usually a corner would go and replace his spot or something like that. So yeah, it's the most common defense in the league. Why would they get rid of it? That would make no fucking sense.
And you're damn right, Chef Rand. Mel Kiper's a bum.
He's a bum. He was a bum then, and he's a bum now.
For sure. Goddamn sure. Defense lives matter. Absolutely right, brother. Defense lives matters. Fuck
yeah,
that.
and look at this. We got or wait, never mind. I forgot. We're not on mine. I was about to pull up something that I had from Jordan Battle, but I forgot. It's not up here. But yeah, when we got a shout out from Jordan Battle, and he said get in some IDP leagues with the Hustlers, and he was like, let him know, man. Defensive players matter and make as many plays as the offense.
Absolutely.
And, that's why I don't get that's like my smoke for like the fantasy football community. Like when I bring up IDP and they're like, what? Like, why would I play defense? That makes no sense. It's like, oh, you don't watch football? Like, yeah, I watch football. Well, every single offensive play besides touchdowns have a defensive play attached to that play, right?
Exactly. They don't know. They're such casuals to not really understand the whole thing, the whole concept that there are defensive players out there. How do you think the offense it's just 12 guys out there? I mean 11 guys out there and they're playing against air? Like what the fuck? This is not practice. No, they're going up against a defense that practices just like the offense does and got great players on the defense just like the offense does. And they're doing it. Most of those guys are doing that shit backwards. So it's very impressive what those guys do. So yeah, I suggest a lot of you guys get into it because it's very entertaining and it will help you learn a lot more about football.
Oh yeah, and I don't. We play with DBs in there in our lineups and stuff, but it's a lot of safeties. Like safeties usually getting more tackles and sacks and more opportunities, to make plays on the ball. And but man, the corners, like for NFL, I mean, the corners still are probably one of the most important positions.
Trust me, I can tell you as a 5'6" fucking corner. I'm short. But I was pretty good. I was pretty good. But it's a tough position. So those guys deserve all the credit that they get.
Corbin said, once I went IDP, I never looked back. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When I first got introduced to fantasy football, my friends played in a 2 QB league and an IDP. And so I just thought that that's how everybody played. So when I started meeting people and seeing their leagues, like, why don't you guys use defensive players? They're like, no, man, we just do like the team defense. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Absolutely. They got it. Yeah, you guys got to get up on game for sure. Definitely got to get up on game. Derek Carr beat Mahomes.
Chef Ernest Jones has kind of sucked ever since he's got over to wherever the fuck he went, the Titans.
Yeah.
He sucked over there for fantasy.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. My other smoke that I want to bring, which I always bring on every week, is for all those Cowboy haters. I got to bring that. I can't forget all you Cowboy haters. Because you guys love to see us lose, even when you guys team sucks and lose as well. So I understand it, but just know that the smoke will be reciprocated. Always, even though I am the Cowboy critic, and I will come up here and talk shit about my Cowboys all day long. When they are playing like shit, I'll be the first to tell y'all. But a lot of y'all out here talking shit with some badass teams out there. And you think I won't find out what team you represent? Oh, I find out. Oh, I do every time. And then you're going to get that smoke too. It's only right. Just had to put that. But I love it though. Just letting y'all know. I invite all of the smoke. Bring all the Cowboy hate. All you want. I love it. I will engage with it. It's all fun.
It's fun to hate on the Cowboys.
It is. It's got to be. I have fun doing it myself. Especially with that.
a lot of it's the Cowboy fans bringing it upon themselves, because for me, it was always the Cowboy fans and the Raider fans. I've always been surrounded by a bunch of them, and all of them, they just talk about the Super Bowls, and most of them weren't even alive for the Super Bowls, they witnessed, or most of them are just fans of the team because their parents were fans of the teams, and they inherited that, and that's fine. But like, at least just say it. I was born into this family, just wear it with pride instead of like, no, I like it because of all this shit that happened before I was born, and I figured all this out when I was 3 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always say it. I was born into it. My father, my uncles, my aunts, they all love the Cowboys. They've been Cowboys fans for like 50 years now. So I was born into it. And for a while, I was just like most Cowboy Nation. Yeah, we're going to win it every year. Oh, yeah, I see it. Here it is. Oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Here it is. This, that, and the third. And then eventually I woke the fuck up and was like, this is not going to happen. Like, I finally realized this is not what I thought it was. So I'm not on that bandwagon. But I am a proud Cowboy fan, though.
So many things need to go right to win just one Super Bowl, and so that's why it's crazy when we see these teams like the Chiefs fucking get on this roll that they're on.
Exactly, like that. Me and my pops talk about it all the time. Just what, like I was a Brady hater for the longest time, like the biggest Brady hater.
Unless you're a fan of the Patriots, you better have been a Brady hater. I'm just saying, man, he was ruining everybody.
I hated Brady, and I hated on everything that happened. I gave all the credit to Belichick and shit like that. But there was just one point where I was just like, yo, I cannot hate on this motherfucker anymore. Like, he just keeps getting it done. He keeps getting it done. At some point, you just got to give your respect when it's due, So,
when I stopped hating on him?
When was it?
Never. I'll still hate on that motherfucker right now. He sucks at commentating. He's a bum.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely got to get better at that. I think he's trying too fucking hard. Like,
yeah,
dude, just fucking talk. We don't want to hear you button up and try to be like whoever his fucking partner is. Like, no, we don't want to hear that from the greatest quarterback of all time. No, we want to hear you talk like you would talk in the fucking locker room, obviously outside of the cursing and shit like that. But we want to hear that. We want to hear what you, Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, sees. And we want to hear you say it that way, not the way the producers are telling you to say it.
Just needs to, take a little page out of Tony Romo's book.
Yeah,
just have a little sip of something, just loosen it up, man. It's not against the fucking rules for you to take a little sip of something, is it?
Absolutely. Holy shit. It's bad.
Yeah, he sounds like he's fucking doing one of those stupid ass commercials that he sounds like literally talking the exact same, like it's like a fake acting job that he's reading off a teleprompter or something.
Yep. It's horrible. And he's hopefully somebody that like a Tony Romo gets in his ear and it's like, dude, just fucking relax. Like nobody expects much from you. They're gonna love you regardless.
People expect everything out of him. I'm sure he puts that pressure on himself too. But
that's true. That's I guess what that commercial was about. That's true. People are gonna. I mean, like we did say, we all were and still are Tom Brady. So we're always gonna find a reason, but. That's my point was just, you gotta have fun with it. This is what we do, and don't take it personal. Some of you guys are taking that shit personal, and it's just fun. We love to talk. We all have our own opinions, and you're all entitled to it. But let me talk my shit too. That's all.
Fran said IDP sounds awesome. It is. It makes it. So it's more, it's almost like two teams in one because you got an offense and a defense. So it depends on how many, spots you got. But you need a complete team to win. There's no fucking accidental like champions because I feel like in the leagues where you only start like 7 people, like kind of like the default ones, like you could have one guy just go off like crazy. And that kind of like wins the entire matchup. It's a little bit harder when you have more players in there because like, the scores are higher in general, and like one guy doesn't make as much of a difference because you got more players in there. And I'll tell you what, some of the funnest things when I'm watching Red Zone and shit is like I see my running back get like a 20-yard, rush, and it's like then the linebacker comes just out of nowhere and tackles them, and you get points for that also. It just feels like you're double dipping on the same play.
Yep, absolutely. one of the best parts about it, for sure.
Jay said IDP is the best. I'm never going back. Yeah, and like it's not like I'll never play in teams, you know, the offense only ones, but I don't want to play in team defense. It's like it's stupid.
Yeah,
We don't play team offense ever. Like, why the fuck would we play team defense?
Exactly. I agree. That's the way you're supposed to play it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll hate on Brady forever. And it's really because, like, well, first off, I mean, it's not like the Chargers were going to win any fucking championships, you know, but I felt like one year they were going to, that LT year. But man, all the cheating that fucking happened, like while they were there, and like all that shit, like, come on, man. Like, if this look at the Astros, you know, the Houston Astros, you know, like, if it was a bunch of white boys down in Houston on that team, maybe they would have got a pass. But it's like, I don't know, Brady and Belichick, like, they get this pass for cheating, and I don't really get that. And I never will. And so Brady should always have that asterisk next to his name. If you hate Barry Bonds for cheating, you should hate Tom Brady for cheating.
Don't switch up. I agree. I 1000% agree. I think a lot of people switch up depending on who they like and who they don't like, you know, and that's just corny. You got to have that same energy for everybody, whether you like them or not. I 1000% agree with that.
And I wish that the Chargers cheated more, you know, like, I mean, it's you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I mean,
exactly.
One of the oldest things in sports, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, Tony Romo for sure was entertaining. And all his calls, just getting them correct is just like crazy. I wish he played like that for our Cowboys, but I guess he was just better at commentating.
You can tell that he's a little bit farther removed now because he's not getting the calls right as much as he used to, and he's not even calling them out as much as he used to now because all these different formations and shit. It's like it's different.
Yeah, shit. He's never for it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, that's what Tom Brady needs to do. Just smoke a joint or fucking take a little sip of something. Like he's got to loosen up, man, because it's I mean, he's so awkward that it like makes me almost feel bad for him because it sounds like he's really trying and like it's not like it's just talking, you know, like all this shit that you do on the fucking football field, like you can't just talk.
Right, exactly. I agree. It's just talking. It's the game that you love, the game that you played for 20 plus years, and known as one of the greatest to do it. So why not just be yourself? I hate it. I just hate it. Like we don't want to see our greats be in a box like that. Like just get rid of the script for him. Let the partner do all that scripted shit and let Tom Brady just see what he says. It's kind of like Peyton Manning and his brother when they have their Monday night show. They're hilarious. They're fucking hilarious. Like let them do it, and they give us great insight on the game. Just being themselves. So let Tom Brady have that same kind of leeway and give him a long leash and not have him so scripted to what you're used to doing because it just doesn't fit him well.
Because as of right now, Tom Brady makes Booger McFarland look like John Madden. Like that's how bad Tom Brady is right now.
That's a great fucking comparison right there.
Right, Robbie said could still pull out a win in one of my IDP leagues after Stevenson shit the bed performance. Yeah, because in some of these regular leagues you only start like 7-8 people, and like one of your guys gets like 1 point, like it's almost cooked at that point.
Yeah, those shits hurt. But yeah, like you said, the IDPs that having those other players, those extra players, can save your game, save your league. For sure. You got any other smoke?
Ooh.
Have any other smoke?
Yeah, I think
what's going on, fellas?
I think that was all of them. What I want to hear it from the in the chat. Who's got some smoke
going on
out there? Who's got the smoke for someone or a team? And Ballers and Briefs, what up?
Yeah, absolutely. What smoke y'all got for this week? Like who y'all?
There's a shitload of people watching on Twitter, and I always wonder, is this like Elon Musk's, just like he has these bots to make like, just seem like it's all popular. Put some comments in the chat. Exactly. Twitter. Come on, X.
Okay, use them Twitter fingers. Let's go.
Right? Fucking Rob said bitch didn't even get any PT. Well, you hurt his finger. Remember when that face mask or whatever? Like something happened with his finger because they took him out and then he didn't play the rest of the half. I mean, it was almost done.
Yep. Yeah, he went out immediately.
Something happened.
Absolutely.
They're also getting the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, at that point, for sure. That was ugly.
What up, Nigel? Nigel's watching all the way in Serbia. What up, Nigel?
Oh, nice. Appreciate it.
Traded Ridley away for Swift. Oh, man. Why? Swift sucks. So my running backs are Pacheco, Stevenson, Chandler, Rico, Chubb. Wide receivers are JJ, Nico, Flowers. Dude, I mean, I don't really like Ridley that much because of Levi's, but like, man, they let him rush the ball like last week and he scored a touchdown. Like, what if that's like more of a thing?
Yeah, exactly. That's something that they can rely on for sure.
And Swift fucking sucks, man. I've never liked him. And like now behind this shit line, I think people think like he's running behind that Philadelphia Eagles line of last year where he stayed healthy and like had a decent average, you know, throughout the season. But that's not Chicago.
Yeah, that's not Chicago. I agree. I think that was just caught up in the moment.
And hell yeah, Chef Randy said Ridley's on the come up. Yeah.
Absolutely. They're definitely going to look for sure.
Bake said the Bears defense is all smoke. Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, the Bears defense has actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
It's fucking TJ Edwards, man. Like he's a beast.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is. Yeah, no, I think that defense is legit so far. I think they can continue to do it too.
And what'd Bob say? So I'm a Bears fan. I wouldn't even touch Swift. Yeah. I mean, no real reason to. Oh, Nigel said I'm a Bears fan. I believe they'll come around. Okay. Well, at least that makes sense on why you did it now.
Got it. Yeah.
It's okay for people to be homers with fantasy football. You know, I'm a big advocate of like getting guys that you want to cheer for. But there's also a fine line of like, do you want that to, you know, compromise you winning?
Right.
So there's a very fine line.
There is. I got one Cowboy on my, actually no, two Cowboys, and I think they were very valuable. CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Aubrey, because I think Brandon Aubrey might take. Actually, I'm going to say that he's going to by end of the year he will be known as the best kicker in the NFL. And then CeeDee Lamb, him and Dak always have put up numbers every year. Now that both of them got paid, I think they continue to do that, even in losses, whether we have a good season or a bad season. They always put up numbers. So I thought it was a safe pick. Like, I don't just pick Dallas Cowboy players just because I'm a Cowboys fan. Nah.
So I guess I got another question for you. So for the longest time, it was like Sebastian Janikowski, you know, for the Raiders. Like seemed like the best kicker in the league. But it was because their team sucked and they could never really score. So at risk of like the Cowboys almost seeming like they suck and can't score, like, you know, like do you want Aubrey to be that guy? Because I feel like that's one of the only ways he becomes like one of the best kickers in the league if he's kicking that many field goals and from that far out.
I think based on our schedule and what I think we're going to be this season, I don't think we're going to be that great. I think I had us at 9 to 10 wins this season. And I think based on our schedule, we got a tough schedule. We play the AFC North. We got, you know, how those defenses could be. We already played the Browns. Obviously, that worked out for us. Ravens, we're going to see how that works out for us tomorrow. But we got tough schedule. And I think a lot of our offensive scheme, especially without a running game and without a defensive line, so teams are going to be able to run the ball on us and eat the clock, forcing Dak to have to try to play catch up. And if we don't get big yardage and stuff like that, I think Aubrey has the leg enough to where they're going to be in a lot of positions to where he's going to be kicking field goals for us.
I wonder if they knew ahead of time, you know, we're playing the North this year. Nobody could run on anybody in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Wonder if we just like forego the running back this year, bring back Zeke, and then we'll figure out running back in next year's draft.
Yeah, it might be. It might be their angle at this. I honestly don't know yet, but that might be their angle because obviously they didn't really make a splash this offseason in that department. So, but I will say I do like the addition of Kendricks. He has been our best linebacker so far for the Cowboys. He's been all over the place, reading plays. Obviously outside of last game, he wasn't that good, but I do like his um, activity in the run game, obviously outside of last week.
Yeah. And Dustin said, "What up with the Saints? Said, are they the real deal?" I mean, shit, right now they look like the real deal.
They look
but
like
I feel like it's only a matter of time before some of these too high safeties remember to like double team Shaheed.
right, exactly. And then, Derek Carr, once you take away his best options, then he starts to panic a little bit and shit like that. But I will say if that run game is able to continue to be that good, they might be on to something because I think that helps Derek Carr a lot. Keep that. I think it's like a somewhat similar situation with the Buffalo Bills with James Cook, with him being able to run the ball, that takes the pressure off of Josh Allen to have to throw the ball as much.
Yeah.
They can win the game, time possession, and shit like that. So that helps a lot.
Yeah. And Chef Rand says Saints OC must be a savant. I mean, looking pretty sweet right now, that's for sure.
There is.
What Nigel said, Chandler by week 6 overtakes Aaron Jones. I don't know. Chandler's just not that good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Jones in that.
Bake said the Bears defense only did good against Tennessee, bad against Houston. They might be good only this week, only because Anthony Richardson's the quarterback and still needs to learn to throw for sure. Yeah, dang. Jamie gave us a stat earlier. He said that Anthony Richardson has thrown more interceptions to man coverage than he has thrown completions to man coverage.
Wow.
As of right now.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That right there. Can't do good.
That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, that just tells every defense, oh well, just play man coverage against him. He's gonna be fucked up.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's crazy too, because even like when you're playing video games, like I almost never want because it's video games, man. Like, why do you really need to go zone when you're with video games where like everybody is good, and like mostly I'll just go in man. A lot of times I'll even go in the dime. You just throw 4 DBs out there, and if the person's not running the ball, they just keep throwing the ball. It's only a matter of time before they're going to throw a pick because like players are too good and they just keep up with all the wide receivers.
No question. Absolutely. I agree.
And yeah, Levi, yeah. he said he's a butt fumble, huh? He's even worse than I don't know. I mean, butt fumble Sanchez, he made it to 2 AFC championships.
Sure did.
Forget that.
Sure did. People forget that a lot. He's definitely, made his memes well known, but he's also made it to AFC championships twice, more than a lot.
Because like he was the Brock Purdy of like those years, I feel. Even though he was the first rounder, but they didn't get anywhere because of Sanchez.
Yep, they had a great run game. They had a great defense. That's when they had Revis Island, going great. Yeah, he definitely benefited from a great team for sure.
Yeah, he had LT. Chargers are idiots. They let LT go for nothing, man. They're so stupid. That's why the Chargers always lose. Their front office is just trash.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta have a good front office.
Rex and Revis Island. Yeah, I mean, that defense was so nasty.
Nasty. Camardi over there. Yeah, they had some beasts over there.
Yeah, man. I wonder, and that was Camardi when he only had like 10 kids. So it was like he wasn't as stressed like as he is now.
Exactly. Still with
it's crazy. Camardi, he that year where he had like 12 picks or like whatever it was, it's like he has kids in like every state every city that they played in that year.
Yeah, nuts. It's fucking nuts.
And he had a vasectomy and had 3 kids after he had a vasectomy.
How do you do that? That is,
I mean, those are some either some miracle babies
right.
or I don't know, or some karma babies. Like I don't know what ways you want to like throw it, but man, that's just crazy. Vasectomy and had 3 kids after that.
Yeah,
Dedicated swimmers.
Dedicated. Hey, you're not gonna leave us out. Fuck this.
And it's crazy because his counterpart, Phillip Rivers, you know, he's got like 11 kids, but it's like all with the same lady, and it's all like a wholesome thing and everything. And but he just wanted to make sure when they go to like the Rivers, you know, family, like, you know, cookouts and shit, they got a whole 11 on 11 just on their side already.
Absolutely, man. That's a smart, man. Keep that money going into that family, baby, for sure.
Hell yeah. Chef Rand, that's wild. He said strong. Hell yeah, man.
It sure is, bro. I love it.
All right. About that time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, appreciate everybody that pulled up and enjoyed the show. Jones'NForSmoke, always bringing that smoke. Obviously, appreciate you, my co-host Alex, for always bringing that smoke to the NFL fans out there. For all of us to talk some shit, because I always needed somebody to talk some shit with. And bro, you are the best partner so far for this job. So I appreciate you, partner with us to do this every week. We're gonna bring the best smoke that we can to you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you guys, and yeah, you guys enjoy the games tomorrow. Week 3, football's back, baby. I love it.
Hell yeah. Gonna be a wild week 3, and we'll be live at 7:10 West Coast time, and be streaming all the way up to the games.
Absolutely,
and through the first set of games.
Absolutely, I'm definitely gonna try to pull up as well. So it should be fun, man.
Hell yeah.
You guys enjoy. Peace.
Peace out.